What up? Welcome to Working Crass Podcast. That's Lauren.
Oi, is that a new podcast?
No, it's not a new podcast, you twit. And I'm Joshua. And and we're Working Crass Podcast. We talk about the horse shit going on in the world and in our lives because we like the taste, the smell, and the
Feel.
the atmosphere that horse shit, only purest of horse shit can create.
Some would call us horseshit connoisseurs.
Oh, yes, that one comes from a stallion. This one comes from a racehorse.
This one comes from an Arabian palmetto.
This one comes from Don Lemon. Speaking of which, let's get started. Our first pile of horse shit here to talk about is a clip of CNN's very own Don Lemon. And I think that this is an excellent example. You know, people, always talk about how news media will heighten stories. You know, they'll what's the word? They'll
tell the truth.
No. Follow along. Yes, and me. God damn it. Don't. It's our podcast, not your podcast. Help me when I can't remember the word. Don't hurt me. So the thing I like about this clip is that it really does show how news media catastrophizes stories to turn it into clickbait, to make you click on it and think differently about what's actually going on in the world, right? And people say this all the time. People say that news media catastrophizes stories. You know, they'll add to the story to make you want to click on it, as opposed to just telling you the truth, right? They'll politicize, issues as well.
Mm-hmm. They have a specific agenda that they're trying to promote in certain cases.
Yes.
And they're instead of just relaying the facts and seeing where the facts take you, whatever they may be, they try and, finagle the facts into fitting whatever story it is that they want to tell.
Yes, exactly. Like a specific politicized story, right? They want it to fit their agenda specifically.
Yeah.
And, people who regularly get their news from CNN or MSNBC, or for that matter, Fox News or Breitbart or wherever it is that you get your news, they go, oh, yeah, I see that sometimes with other news media, but not with my news media. Mine doesn't do that. They give it to me straight,
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you're like on the left and you listen to CNN and you go like, oh, well, Fox News does that, but my guy never does that. And when he does, it's okay because he's right. He's right to do it because we need votes. So I like it when he does it. Anyway.
He looks sexy when he does it.
He looks sexy when he politicizes the news. Don Lemon looks sexy when he does this
when
shit.
we do it, it's hot. But when, Republicans do it, it's like
not.
Ugly.
It's ugly.
It's ugly.
So this is a great clip. Don Lemon talking about Hurricane Ian with a hurricane expert. This is a scientist that they brought on to give us the facts about hurricanes. And Don Lemon...
Well, this specific hurricane, too.
This specific hurricane, which is, it's going on right now. It's important for people to know, especially if you live in Florida, where Hurricane Ian is about to hit you in this situation.
Yeah, especially if you're right in the eye of the hurricane.
Exactly.
You're going to want to know.
You're going to want to know because there's nothing going on in the eye of the hurricane. You're looking around, things look bad, but it's calm where you are. That's how hurricanes work.
Is there a hurricane?
But Don Lemon tries to politicize this a little bit. Let's take a look.
Can you tell us what this is and what effect climate change has on this phenomenon?
Well, we can come back and talk about climate change at a later time. I want to focus on the here and now. We think the rapid intensification is probably almost done. There could be a little bit more intensification as it's still over the warm waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico, but I don't think we're going to get any more rapid intensification. If you look here, you can actually see, pretty interesting for your viewers, you can actually see a second eye wall forming around the inner eye wall, and that's basically the second eye wall has overtaken the original eye wall, and that should arrest development.
So listen, I'm just trying to get that. You said you want to talk about climate change, but what effect does climate change have on this phenomenon?
Listen. I know you said you don't want to talk about climate change, and you're trying to talk about the storm here, but fuck you. What? Climate change. Tie it to climate change.
Yeah. Facts. But story. Let's get to the story.
I do like how he's like the scientist here is like, now this is, climate change we could talk about later, but this is what's actually very interesting about this is that there's actually a second, eye of the storm forming. And he's like, this is what I find interesting. Don Lemon's like, yeah. That's boring shit. Get to the climate change. Get to
Yeah, we get it. You're a big dumb nerd who likes weather. But tell us how this helps the Democrats.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's correct. Tell us exactly 100%. And, I can see by your graphs there that you're showing us that the eye of the storm, there's a second eye forming, and, this could be dangerous to Floridians and everything, but I'm just not seeing how this ties back to the Democrats.
Yeah, I get it. There's one eye, there's two eyes, I have two eyes. Who cares? Just give me the juicy stuff that I can use against my enemies.
Now, overall, this is going to be a really, really dangerous storm. Yeah, and what does that have to do with the midterms? Nothing.
So how does the storm tie Trump to Russian collusion?
So you're telling me the storm picks up votes and hands them to Russia, and then Russia gets to decide who the next president is?
You're telling me this storm is responsible for rioting at the Capitol as we speak, right?
You're telling me this storm said the N-word? Yeah. At what point is this storm going to tweet the N-word? All right, let's hear what he has to say.
That is happening now, because it seems these storms are intensifying. That's the question.
I don't think you can link climate change to any one event.
Okay.
On the whole, on the cumulative
I like the editing
of change.
Yeah, okay. Whoever put this together has edited it a bit. It doesn't help podcasts trying to talk about horse shit when you edit your videos. If you're out there and you do like YouTube clips like this, just give us the clip.
Think of the podcasters.
Think of the podcasters.
When
No
you're
one
putting
thinks of
together
us.
clips of things, think of the podcasters.
Like, we don't need your extra. Yeah, we get it. We get that Don Lemon is frustrated because he doesn't want to talk about climate change. Anyway.
May be making storms worse, but to link it to any one event, I would caution against that.
So stop it. I was not demoted. None of that.
Okay.
All
This
right.
is all right.
All right.
That's sorry.
Now this is turning into other forms of horse shit.
I know. They've literally taken clips, but the crux of that and what happens after that too, which I wish was included in this clip. I thought I clicked the right one. This is, you know what? We can't blame them. I should check the clips before I play them on my podcast. I should probably check the clip all the way through before I play it on a podcast. But
I just remember the good old days when you could just trust that a clip was going to play what you wanted it to play.
those were the good old days, and now they're over. They're long over.
Make clips great again. That's what we say.
But, basically, the guy tells him, I wouldn't want to, blame climate change for this specific event. It doesn't really, I wouldn't advise that. We could talk about climate change another time. It might potentially be making storms like this worse, but for this specific example, it's, we can't just say that it is. And after that, Don Lemon actually starts to go, yeah, well, I lived in Florida and I've seen that these storms are getting worse. So I think it's climate change, which is great because he has the climate expert on. And this was the whole thing. Like, listen to the experts, right? Mm-hmm. Listen to the experts. Mm-hmm. I watch
Trust
CNN.
the science. Trust the science. Trust the science. Unless the science is not aligning with your specific narrative, in which case, don't trust the science. Go with your anecdotal evidence.
Exactly. Always trust the science. I watch CNN because they have scientists on who explain these things.
Yeah, his name is Don Lemon.
I do just love that. No, I don't think so.
No, you're wrong.
Nope, you're wrong. I definitely recommend you go out, you find a video of this. Don't watch the video posted by Ovation Eddie 2. If you find Ovation Eddie 2 on YouTube, go downvote his videos. And let him know that he's hurting podcasts. He's hurting podcasting in general.
Look, Ovation Eddie 2, you're really great with like the edits and the cuts and all that, but we just need a straight clip.
We just need a straight clip, Ovation Eddie. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Eddie.
So
Anyway, well, that's that. That was a fun one. Now,
yeah.
I want to move on to something a little more fun, okay? A little more goofy and funny, you know? Because that's all political and stuff. But, you know, we watch Legion of Skanks a lot. We're big fans of Legion of Skanks. And they're trying to get back to the basics, right? That's what Louis J. Gomez has been talking about. They're trying to get back to the basics. I think Working Crass should get back to the basics, okay? Here we are talking about politics. This shit's boring. Let's get to the fun stuff. Where's the poop? Where's the farts? Where's the doo-doo?
That's our roots.
Those are our roots. We got to get back to the Working Crass roots. I just want this podcast to be goofy and funny, and we're fucking it up.
Our origin story.
Our origin, we were born in a pile of doo-doo. And we said, let's start a podcast. It's stinky in here.
We emerged from a fart cloud. And the podcast was formed.
So this was sent to us by, our good friend Dawn of Comics. And this is, man jailed for 34 months after farting in police officer's face.
Honestly, good. What a psychopath.
I mean, I think... Because I like...
You like farting in people's faces?
I like farting. And... No, I like standing up to authority, right? I like...
So you feel like you should combine the two?
This does combine them. What are you talking about? Farting in a police officer's face is standing up to authority, no matter what. You're farting in a police officer's face. What I'm saying is I'm all for standing up to authority, and that's what this man did. And I think this is a positive, creative way to do that. And, he's going to end up in jail, and that just is what it is. He's 41 years old now. That's the interesting thing. Now, if a 13-year-old farts in a police officer's face, it's like, oh, those teenagers, those kids, that's just what that's just what they do. But when a 41-year-old man farts in the officer's face, I start to think, like, was this an accident? The older you get, the more you accidentally fart. Am I right?
You're not wrong on that.
I mean...
Yeah, you're not wrong. Definitely a fart of a 13-year-old is a very different fart from a 45-year-old man fart.
I mean, maybe, he was getting arrested for something else. The guy's, like, down behind him putting on his handcuffs, and the guy's stomach is just killing him. I gotta let it out. And sometimes, if it's the right time to let it out, it doesn't matter whose face is behind you, a police officer or Don Lemon's. You're just gonna have to let it out.
The police is like, no, you hold that fart in. You'll fart when I say you can fart.
The citation says is like for not holding it in. I caught you on first degree not holding in a fart. A man who farted in a police officer's face has been jailed for almost 3 years. Matthew Hapgood, 41, blew a raspberry at the copper after he was nicked for shoplifting. Okay, so he was shoplifting. He shoplifted 33 euros worth of beer and cider from Tesco and vape products from a garage. So he's stealing, liquor and vapes. So, I mean, this
so
guy
is
is...
farty. Checks out. It'd be amazing. It was like, yes, he was shoplifting like cans of beans. He took the entire like Gas X section from the pharmacy.
Oh my God. Man caught stealing burritos, farts in a police officer's face. I'm sorry, senor. When police arrested Hapgood, he broke wind in the officer's face during the course of that arrest. Hapgood pleaded guilty to robbery, shoplifting, possession of a bladed article, and criminal damage and farting at the Oxford Crown Court.
That fart did criminal damage.
He pleaded guilty to gas.
He pleaded silent but deadly. Do you think his defense was, Your Honor, those who smelt it dealt it? I hope that was the defense.
Well, and this is another good example of like editorializing like the story a little bit, because like, I mean, you can tell the article title is he's jailed for 34 months after farting in police officer's face, not for farting in a police officer's face. It's like that small word after makes you think like, oh, he went to jail for farting in his face. None of this says that he went to jail for the fart. The fart just happened.
Okay? It happened,
it
but
happened
it didn't help. It didn't help.
No, obviously.
Didn't get him off. If you want to get less time, avoid farting.
Yeah, hold it
avoid
in.
farting in your police officer's, arresting officer's face.
Sometimes though you hold it in and then it doesn't come out later and then you just get a tummy ache, you know? You gotta, I don't want to advise our listeners to hold in farts. You know, even if you're getting arrested, it's gonna give you a tummy ache. And
I suppose, but
it's
the
not
question...
healthy to hold in a fart.
Well, it's one thing to like fart in front of somebody. It's a whole other thing to like fart directly into their face. Like,
Well,
that feels
they
a
said
bit
in the process-
premeditated.
We are making a lot of assumptions about this sweet man who is stealing liquor and vapes. Okay, because we don't know. It just said in the process of being arrested, right? He could have just let it out, and the officer smelled it and goes, "That was in my face, damn it!" You know, like. We keep assuming that this guy held this guy's face down somehow or got right in his face and he goes, "Let her rip."
Or as he's being put into the police car, he lifts his leg, angles it, fires away. He knew what he was doing.
In that situation, yes, but I choose to believe that this was a good
faith fart.
A good faith fart, okay? This is a good guy stealing liquor and vapes.
This could be the trial of a century. Was the fart in good faith or not?
Put me on the jury. I don't know if they have juries overseas or if if the judge decides everything. I don't really know. I don't know how the court system works over there. All I know is you shouldn't fart.
Whoever denied it supplied it.
And that's the law of the land. Cool. Well, moving on. I do have another story here. Now, this one's a little less stinky, but it's still a pile of horse shit. This one, I'm pregnant with my own son's baby by Adriana Diaz. So now this is wild, okay? Now, the first thing, you're going to read this and you're going to go, oh my God, this person like had sex with their son. And that's not the situation here. And when I first
read... It does feel like the headline is trying to lead you into that territory.
Oh, for sure. I'm pregnant with my own son's baby. And you're going to be like, oh, this is like a woke thing where like, it's okay to, you know, if you're in love, you can sleep with your son or whatever. That's not what this is.
Crazy incest story.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, that's what it seems like. But
are you allowed to say incest on YouTube?
I don't know. I don't know what you're allowed to say. You're probably not even allowed to say horseshit. You're probably not allowed to say working crass podcast. Now, so I read more into this a little bit. So her son and his wife were unable to have a child, and so she carried the child for them. Still, her son's semen inside of her, though. So that's a little.
I mean, that's.
She goes, my husband.
Odd.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
However, I'm not super appalled by it because I do feel like. Yeah, if they have like a medical reason why the wife couldn't, you know, carry the child, and she wants to be their surrogate, I mean, I feel like that's a really nice gesture. However,
I mean, no mother should hold a turkey baster full of her own son's semen.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And I'm putting that on a T-shirt. I'll fight. I'll stand at the
I
picket
just think
lines.
this
I'll
is-
make a sign. No mother should hold their son's semen in a turkey baster.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. However, there's no way that this grandma doesn't lord this over her son and her daughter-in-law's heads forever,
oh yeah.
and getting to decide what her grandson does.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm the one that carried him. I brought him in this world. I'll take him out.
Yeah, that's the downsides I see to this.
And then that's so weird. Nancy Houck, 56, can't wait to give birth to her granddaughter. I never planned for it, but I'm so glad I chose to carry my son's baby. So I'm a little confused, actually. The woman who's carrying the baby, his name is Nancy Houck, but the title is "I'm Pregnant with My Own Son's Baby" by Adriana Diaz. Adriana, who wrote this story, you don't get to just take credit for what Nancy Houck did.
Yeah, she is stunning and brave, and you just stole her thunder. How dare you?
Exactly. Again,
How dare you?
Again, changing the story to make it more clickbaity. This is what every news organization does. If you get your news for free, chances are it's manipulating you to think a specific way. The only news that you can actually trust are the ones that you have to pay like $5 a month or a week to get, like, because who's going to pay journalists to do actual journalism? Nobody, because nobody buys it. So they actually have to charge you to view it all the time because it's not going to be free. The free news is the ones that they can sell ads off of and that you'll click on because it's extreme. They've made it bigger than it actually is. They've made it clickbaity, right? They've editorialized it. They've whatever. So anyway, that being said, it is very, very weird to be like, I gave birth to my own granddaughter. It's like, doesn't make sense.
It is odd. It is odd. I just can't imagine you feel like you've got to that point in your life where your children have grown, and I don't know if at that point you're like, yeah, I'll go through the childbirth process again.
No big deal. Nancy Houck, 56, can't wait to give birth to her granddaughter in November. Here's some nice little photos of all of them together. I can't wait to give birth to my own granddaughter.
Because then I'm going to make all its decisions for,
and then
for that child.
Here's me and my son. His cum is in me. So Jeff and Cambria had already collected fertilized embryos from their other rounds of IVF. They dreamed of having more children, weren't sure what path to take when Cambria was advised to undergo a hysterectomy after her last pregnancy in September 2021.
So it sounds like they take an already fertilized embryo and implant it in the mom's womb.
Still come.
I'm surprised that mom is like still able to do that at that point in her life,
Yep. She says, I told them I would be willing, but thought that I thought I would be old. Yeah. Having experienced over 4 years of infertility treatments, I knew how complicated the process can be and doubted that it was possible for her to carry a baby for us. But I was very moved that she would even offer. That's her husband. Oh, no, that's her son saying that. Sorry. Humbled and amazed. Felt like a miracle, even though I had administered the dozens of shots that he had prepared her body for pregnancy, It's wild. I mean, look, there's nothing that bad. The title really makes it seem like it's going to be like a wild story, right? I'm pregnant with my son's baby. It's like an episode of Maury or Jerry Springer, but it's not. It's kind of sweet. Still a little weird, though. Still just a little bit weird. My mom gave birth to my son.
Yeah.
Or daughter.
I'm not saying this woman's not psychotic.
Maybe. Or maybe she's just a good, nice person. And that's just what we do here at Working Crass Podcast. We take nice, sweet, good people and we mock them. We bully them. And that transitions me into the next thing I want to talk about here. But before that, I do want to say thank you for listening to Working Crass Podcast. Welcome Class Podcast is what I was about to call us, not the name of our podcast. Thank you for listening to Working Crass Podcast. We are trying to grow this thing. We have been for a little while. This is episode 25. And we want to at least get to 26. So we would appreciate if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is the best way to support us. Go find us on YouTube and give us a nice subscribe and hit that notification bell. It's going to help us grow this thing into something that potentially we could monetize and grow. Maybe we'll have a Patreon soon. We don't know. And go follow us on Instagram at Working Crass Pod. Lots of great stuff there. We both recently just did another podcast. We were guests on a podcast and did a live show at Lincoln Lodge. And so if you go follow us on Instagram, I'll share the link to that video when it comes out. And you can watch us perform on another podcast that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's, I guess, all I had to say about that and all I had to plug. But you know, we have a few listeners, okay? We always joke about our 2 or 3 listeners, and that's a lie, okay? We have 4 or 5 listeners. And to those 4 or 5 listeners that like to, you know, listen and watch, we really do appreciate you. Thank you for listening. And we have a new way that you can help us because, you know, we're trying to grow and it's slow moving. It's really slow moving. You know, we've done comedy for a little while, but we're not out there doing comedy all the time. You know, we're busy people. We got jobs. This podcast is, you know, what we're doing. And a lot of people don't know us yet. So our best bet is going to be like a viral campaign. Like we need to go viral, right?
Yeah. You need to make us go viral.
You have to make us go viral. But we have a way to help, okay? We have a campaign. And this campaign, I think, is going to help us grow this podcast to the point where we're household names, right? It's easy to be a household name.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it.
Now,
if you believe hard enough, you can do it.
You can be the next Tom Hanks.
You could be the next Oprah.
You could be the next Don Lemon. And so
Don Lemon really does embody the if he can do it, anybody can do it.
Well, something these other comedy shows and these other comedy podcasts do is they'll attach themselves to a cause that they believe in. You know, that will help them grow the show too, because people that are for the cause, they'll support the show because the show in a way kind of supports that cause, you know, whether it's Michelle Wolf on her show saying that abortion's for everyone and or maybe it's Stephen Colbert saying doing a dance with a bunch of syringes and saying that you have to go get your COVID vaccine. When you attach yourself to a cause,
it's cool.
It's like cool.
That was cool.
It's rad. Those 2 examples I gave
super cool.
Rad. Very cool. And so we wanted to find like a group of people that might be kind of like marginalized in this country.
Yes.
And maybe kind of stand up for them. You know, we want to be the voice of reason for those people. And as we got to thinking, we decided that
we have to lift up the most vulnerable among us.
Absolutely. I think so. I mean, maybe our listeners want to do this too. They want to lift up, you know, a group of marginalized people. And we got to thinking like, okay, well, you know, what group has been, you know, demonized and marginalized more than trolls, online trolls? I mean, everyone hates online trolls. A lot of people say online trolls are the reason that Trump got elected in 2016. You know, people say online trolls are all just alt-right, fascist.
They're scapegoats for pretty much all of society's ills.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Name a horrible tragedy and you can blame it on trolls.
On trolls. Oh, those are just online trolls saying that. You know, they do it all the time. There's so much hate thrown out about trolls and online trolls. And I think...
The war in Ukraine?
Trolls. That's all trolls.
The fall of Afghanistan?
Trolls. Yep.
Trolls.
Yep.
The Vietnam War? Trolls.
Hurricane Ian, climate change, and trolls. Climate change caused by trolls. But no, I think that somebody needs to stand up for trolls, because I think that trolling is kind of important. People take the internet too seriously. People want the internet to actually be the real world where we all, they can live there, right? People want the internet to be a place where it's safe for everyone and kind for everyone. I think the internet is an actual free-for-all, Western-style hellscape, and that's the way I like it. Don't you?
Yeah, it should be rival gunslingers just going back and forth at each other.
Absolutely.
Should be the good, the bad, and the ugly 24/7 online.
The internet is supposed to be the bathroom stall, right? It's like you've written, it's just the dregs of society have written things on the stall, and you read it and you go, ha, 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 ha. It brightens your day, right? To kind of see these gross things. We want that.
And there are numbers you can call for a good time online.
So we're starting a viral campaign, #StopTrollHate, okay? Online trolls are the most discriminated against minority group in America. They're banned from social media in large numbers, and there's this negative stigma in our culture hanging over their heads constantly. Even the term troll is kind of a slur. I'm using it, and we're going to keep using it for our hashtag
We're
here.
reclaiming it.
We're reclaiming it.
We're reclaiming the word.
Absolutely.
Too long has troll been associated with images of giant beasts with giant boogies hanging out their noses.
Yeah, of course. They're not.
Coming out of dungeons.
Trolls are...
Scaring all the witches and wizards at Hogwarts. No more will that be the image that one associates with the humble troll.
Look, if I could change the world and have it my way, we would get rid of the term troll because it's offensive and it's outdated, and we would replace it with like person in possession of a sense of humor, right? That's what we would call them. But for the sake of getting everyone on board, I say
persons with senses of humor, or people who like to respond with fat on other people's posts.
People with gaydar. Because usually trolls are the first ones to go gay.
Yeah, they will point out if something is gay or not. You're not wrong about that.
But trolls are not just like right wing or left wing, right? Trolls, a lot of the online, like a lot of the people that get like labeled as like these hateful online trolls, a lot of times they don't even mean what they're saying. They're just trying to add levity to the situation, right? Like, you'll see somebody sharing something that's racist or whatever online. Usually, you go to like places like 4chan that are like filled with like hate speech and like, but most of the time they're doing that ironically. Like none of the people who are sharing that, maybe a few of them actually believe, maybe there's a couple KKK members that are online on 4chan. Yeah.
Hiding out in the 4chan trenches?
Yeah, sure. But I would say that the majority of people, and this goes back to like, I had a computer at a very young age, and I spent a lot of time in like message rooms and forums and like board. And this is just how people talked on the internet. Because when you have anonymity, you can say whatever. And sometimes it's fun to watch people's reaction be like, oh, you can't say that. That's awful. That's horrible. You can't say that.
So really, trolls are social experimenters. They're like social scientists in a way.
Yeah.
They're just trying to gauge how people react to certain stimuli.
That's correct.
And if that stimulus happens to be the word gay, they just want to know how it will cause people to react.
Yes, absolutely.
They're looking for what is the button that they can push to make you explode.
Well, there's also just too much sincerity, right? There's way too much just like, we need levity. We need people to like introduce a little bit of laughter sometimes. And sometimes these topics, these taboo topics, like they become too much. We're talking about them too seriously all the time. And what we need is to laugh about them because, and the people will say, oh, well, talking about that topic, it causes me pain. It causes me emotional pain. That's because you literally cannot laugh about it. Like, you're not allowed to laugh about it. And that's why you're giving power to these taboo topics. And what trolls do is they take some of the power away by adding levity. And then we can all laugh and continue to talk about a serious issue. I think trolls are superheroes, okay? I think trolls should be awarded medals of freedom and medals of honor, and Jon Stewart should give a troll a medal at Disney World instead of a Nazi, which he did recently. Look that up. Anyway, that's our thing. So if you'd like to support our cause, use the hashtag stoptrollhate.
Hashtag stoptrollhate. Hashtag let the trolls out of the dungeon.
And the next time you see somebody on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, sharing their sincere feelings about a topic that just is emotionally heated or emotionally charged to them, you get there in the comments and you go gay and you do hashtag stoptrollhate. You share our hashtag all over the place, okay? You have to stop sincerity in its tracks no matter what.
Well, really, any kind of like one word quick reply that will get a rise out of someone
Yes.
is a good reply.
Yes, absolutely. If someone shares a picture and they're like, all the comments are, she's so brave and she's so great. You need to be the one. Somebody has to say, you're fat. But she's fat.
And she could be like the skinniest of stick peoples.
Here's my only rule. Don't troll. Okay. Don't troll just everyday people who can't like do anything about it. Like, don't troll a nobody with like 5 followers, okay? Troll public figures, okay? Troll people who are millionaires. Troll the people.
Troll the millionaires.
Troll
yeah.
the millionaires. Absolutely.
Troll the billionaires.
Go on Seth Meyers' account and go troll him, right? Go troll Stephen Colbert. Go troll like people who can take it, okay?
Yeah, people who dish it too.
Yes. If you have a cousin who has like 2 or 3 friends on Facebook and they make a post about thinking that they should commit suicide, reach out to them and make sure that they're okay. Don't troll them. This is not your opportunity.
Yeah, be there for them, wish them
Yes.
well, ask them if they need anything, maybe find some resources that they can like look into.
But if it's AOC and she's tweeting that she's feeling depressed,
And she's somebody who dishes it. She dishes.
she can take it.
She can take it.
She can take a troll.
So that's what we're really saying. It's not trolling in all situations all the time, a mad free for all.
Right.
It's there's a caveat.
Yes.
It's the mad free for all when it's directed at public figures who dish it out.
That's correct. Now, some people will say, well, that's the difference between punching up and punching down. But, I don't know about that. Like, sometimes it's punching directly across, okay? Sometimes it's your friend and you need to, troll him a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? Just don't, like, punch all the way down. Like, don't go kick a homeless person in the nuts. Like,
Yeah.
it's... the whole punching up and punching down thing is like, I don't know. It's...
Yeah, that's a conversation we could spend a whole other podcast episode on.
Yeah, our next episode will be called Punching Up and Punching Down.
And punching in the nads.
All right. Well, before we go here, let's do one last story
Let's
here.
do the Reddit one.
Yeah. Which one? Which one do you like?
The vegan one.
Okay, cool. So we got a great "Am I the Asshole" story here. Would I be the asshole for refusing to cook? I'm sorry. I'm fucking up reading today. I'm sorry.
It happens. Some days you can read really well, and then some days, man, you're speaking for myself here, my eyes just cannot focus, and
Oh,
all
it's
the words
also-
get mishmashed around.
It's also so small on our screen
Yeah,
here. We
blow
need
it
a
up,
bigger
blow it
TV.
up.
Hey, I want to actually
we have
start.
old eyes. We need big print.
I want to actually start another campaign, and that is get working Crass a 50-inch TV. I've been asking for a while for us to get a big old TV. Lauren keeps saying no, that we don't need it. Yet here's a great example. We're trying to do a podcast here. I can't read the words. We need a bigger TV, okay?
Abolish big TVs. That's what I've been saying.
No,
since the dawn.
no.
Don't believe in them.
Would I be the asshole for refusing to stop cooking bacon in my kitchen due to my teenage daughter's vegan lifestyle? So this is an interesting question. Dad here, old fart, loves his daughter to pieces, but I'm struggling to see eye to eye with my teenager and wife on this one. We've always been a meat-eating family. We live in the rural Midwest, and bacon for breakfast is pretty much a given. This year, my 14-year-old daughter decided to go vegan, and I jumped onto her support team with enthusiasm. We learned how to substitute ingredients, cook new things, try new things. I adjusted our budget to include more expensive vegan substitutes for her, etc.
Damn, this guy's just going all out.
So far, yeah, sounds like a very
so
supportive...
far, it does not sound like he's being an asshole.
Yeah,
sounds like he's actually being the opposite, being very accommodating.
Yeah, absolutely. None of this has been a problem for me until recently. She saw me cook bacon in a pan, and then I rinsed it out to load into the dishwasher.
Oh, boy.
She exploded in anger. Teen years, I'm not too fussed about the anger explosion. I know she doesn't mean it. And said that it was her pan for vegan food. I was completely floored and said, kiddo, this here is a family pan older than you. It's not your pan. She asked me to purchase her a pan that she can solely use for vegan food. I didn't want her to feel weird about food, so I said sure, and ordered her a few colored ones that are only for her. The reason they're colored is so it helps me remember that I'm not to touch them unless I'm cooking vegan. Now, here's the real question. Do they keep the colored pans away from the other pans? They have a special cabinet for the colored pans?
Here's where they messed up. Is they bought the daughter a pan instead of making her save up her money to buy her own pan so that she could say, hey, that's my pan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Well, she felt like she was owed the pan.
I know.
This is how young teenagers work with their parents. It's I am owed what I want. I'm owed what I want by my parents. What I want, I'm owed.
I deserve the pans. I did nothing to contribute to having them in our household, but I claim ownership over them.
So they bought her the colored pans.
Yeah, if it was me, I would have been like, you want your own pan? You buy your own pan.
Right. That wasn't good enough. Now, apparently, the dishwasher is contaminated with animal product, and the fridge has bacon grease fingers on it because I eat bacon and then touch the fridge. And she's asked me and her mom to completely stop eating meat at home. I don't mean I literally touch the fridge with greasy bacon hands because I wash my hands, but it's clearly enough that it upsets my daughter. Frankly, I'm on team hell no. Her mom is much more amenable and strongly wants me to consider taking our daughter up on the request. My wife's reasoning is that both our parents live close so we can eat meat products there, and that she doesn't want our daughter to feel uncomfortable in the kitchen. My daughter says she's fine with cheese and butter in the fridge, but it's specifically meat products that make her feel sick. Now, I'm sorry for her, but I feel like she just needs to adapt and live side by side because I'm not going to stop eating bacon in my own house.
As you shouldn't. No. Your wife? No. You give a teen an inch, they take a mile. They take a goddamn 500 miles.
Yeah.
If they're so inclined. Do not do that. You are opening a can of worms, and you're teaching your daughter that she can boss you and your husband around if she complains loud enough.
Right. The wife is just pulling a just give her what she wants.
Give in to her demands.
Yeah.
don't let her work through being uncomfortable and having to compromise,
Right, correct.
which is what she should do.
Yep. Yep.
And if she doesn't want her pans and dishes and whatnot getting contaminated with the ones that have meat dishwasher liquids on them, then your daughter should just wash her own pans in the sink. Get a sponge and a rag and go to town.
Yep, that's correct. This is so weird, too, because it's just like you're going to tell your family, like, what they can and can't eat in your home. Like, it's one thing to say, like, I'm going to be vegan now. Fine. More power to you. The people who live in my house also have to be vegan now. What? It's the same thing I feel about religion, politics, everything else. It's like, do whatever you want. You have the freedom to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You don't have the freedom to tell other people what they can and can't do, though.
Well, you don't have the freedom to tell other people that what you want is also what they want.
Right.
But
No, she knows it's not what they want. She doesn't want them to want that. She wants them to just do it because it's what she wants, right?
I want you to do it, but I want you to want to do it.
Well, that is a very woman thing. Women love to do that.
I don't just want you to do the dishes. I want you to want to do the dishes.
But if the mom is going to take this route of let's eat at the grandparents' house, the mom should also be like, fine, this is your kitchen, this is your house, you pay the bills. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. We'll go stay with grandma and grandpa.
That's exactly what my folks would be like. All right,
Here's
pay the bills.
Here's all the bills.
Yep.
Here's the grocery budget. Good luck.
Yeah. That is pretty wild. Let's see what people were saying, because I'm just,
Because I say, this guy, not an asshole.
Not the asshole.
Teenager, an asshole by reason of being a teenager.
Yeah. Not the asshole. Get her a special sponge so she can wash her own dishes so she didn't have to use the tainted dishwasher. No, I disagree with that too. Downvote. Don't buy her anything else. You've bought her enough. Have her buy her own shit. Definitely not the asshole. It looks like most people agree, not the asshole. And here's you could tell that he wasn't going to be the asshole after he, says we learned how to substitute ingredients, cook new things, try new things. I adjusted our budget to include more expensive vegan substitutes for her.
And
like he's being accommodating.
Yeah, and
he's being as accommodating as a reasonable
accommodating.
person can be.
Super accommodating, and those vegan substitutes stuff, man, they
Expensive
are
as shit.
pricey.
Yeah.
It is pricey.
Yep, that's true. Well, what did you learn today?
I learned that that Don Lemon is really a model for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
In that whenever you hear information that doesn't fit your narrative, just bully that nerd out of the picture. That's what I learned. Just bully him out of the picture. Go with your gut and your own anecdotes.
Yep.
Because really, we're all right.
Yeah. That's very similar to what I was almost going to say the exact same thing for mine. What I learned today is that Hurricane Ian was caused by climate change, no matter what some stupid scientist tells you, okay? Even if your dad is a scientist and you go ask him and he says, no, they're not related, and he's won awards and he's supposedly the top scientist in the world.
But he keeps getting his greasy bacon fingers all over your climate change narrative.
Then and that gives you the right to not believe him, okay?
Mm-hmm.
These stupid...
Gives you the right to kick him out of his own house.
Here's the thing. Follow the scientists, but also the scientists don't know shit, okay? Here's the thing. Follow the science unless the science goes against the narrative of the DNC. If it goes against the narrative of the Democratic National Convention, it's not science. It's pseudoscience. But always follow the science.
Yep, I think you got it.
Nice. Well, we're all a little smarter now. Goodbye.
Bye.